Hi, Lee. Thanks for submitting your essay. I'll take a look at it. I apologize for the delay. I'm afraid I've been unwell, but now I'm back to essay corrections. So let's get this to you. Okay, women are holding more important roles in businesses and society. Is this positive or negative? Let's see. It was once common that almost all crucial positions in any organization in practically every area, ranging from politics, businesses, or education, were held by male officials. However, long gone the day, and in contemporary society, it has been observed that women are taking up more vital roles in many firms and corporations. Personally, I think that this trend is both negative and positive, though it does more good than harm in nature. Okay. Um, so I didn't really care for your second sentence. This was awkward. Long gone the day. Like I that was strange. It felt unnatural. You would have been fine with just, however, in contemporary society, it has been observed, etc., etc. This could have been a little more concise. Okay, so it was once common that almost all crucial positions, um, ranging from politics, business, or education, were held by male officials. Like you could have just been less wordy, could have been more concise, and would have read better. And then this is interesting. I think it's both negative and positive, though it does more good than harm. Full stop. I don't know why you have in nature here. So, yeah, I mean, I think on the whole, it's fine. I think it could have been more concise in order to be more effective and accurate. So let's keep going. On the one hand, I accept that more time devoted to climbing higher in their career ladder means that less time is spent on building their home. Who is they? You're starting a new paragraph. In your previous paragraph, you talked about men and women. You've talked about both of them. And look, this you've talked about the last noun that you really talked about was this trend, et cetera, et cetera. So now using this there, it's unclear. I mean, logically, we can assume you're talking about women, but you don't want it to be unclear, okay? So use the word women. When you're starting a new paragraph, essentially, make sure that it's clear who you're referring to before you start using pronouns. So, on the one hand, I can accept that more time devoted to climbing higher in women's career ladder means that less time is spent on building their home and fulfilling the roles of being a wife and a mom. It is clear that reaching positions of high levels in any organization, such as executive level or board of directions, takes a tremendous amount of time and effort, and a person with the desire to make it big in their career should be willing to put their career first and other priorities, including their families, second. Okay. For men, this is acceptable since men are often assessed in the eyes of society based on a level of success. He is able, well, it shouldn't be he, but it should be they, because you said men. They are able to attain in the office. In most families, when the husband is dedicating all his energy and effort to building, ing, okay, because this is not full infinitive, this is effort to something, okay? He's dedicating all of his energy and effort to building a stable career that makes his wife and kids proud. The wife is expected to take a step back, mainly focusing on childcare and housework so that her husband feels secure about his family. All right. On the contrary, everyone uses this wrong. You want to say in contrast. Okay. So in contrast, for women, sacrificing the happiness and stability of their family to prioritize their career would always be a questionable decision, even a risky one. Careful. So you're being you're generalizing here. You said would always be questionable. You don't want to use that language like this in IELTS. You want to say it could be a questionable decision. Okay. You never want to overgeneralize in IELTS. It's not the hallmark of a higher level essay. Okay. So avoid this and say it could be a questionable decision, even a risky one. Without the presence of the mother at home, uh, their kids would be left unattended and may grow up without enough care and affection from their mom, something that most dads find hard to make up for. As the old saying goes, men make the house and women make it a home. The role. Okay, what's going on here? So, you needed a semicolon here at the very least, not a comma. All right, because what you've got is a run on sentence here. A comma is not enough. So, men make the house and women make it home, semicolon. The role of women at home can be very challenging to replace, and their lack of presence at home could have a detrimental impact on the lives of every other family member, particularly their kids. Okay, so let's see. Oh, there's a lot to unpack here. So I want you to be careful with some of this absolute language, and you did it in a couple of places. So we talked about this would always. And then you said their kids would be left unattended. You want to say may be left unattended because you don't know that for sure. Okay. What if a woman makes so much money in her job and, has such a high position that she hires nannies and maybe she has grandparents helping out. So you don't want to overgeneralize. You always need to allow some room for not to be 100% applying to everybody. Okay, let's look again at the question one more time. Women are holding more important roles in businesses and societies, as positive or negative. Okay, so what you're saying here is that it's negative because they have less time to be in the home with their families. Okay, I just want to make sure I understood what the central idea was. Let's keep going. On the other hand, I believe that this development is more positive than negative for some reasons. Firstly, the fact that more important positions in businesses and society are taken up by women could be seen as a marked progress towards gender equality. Okay. In recent years, gender equality has become an even more pressing issue, with women fighting to be seen equal to men. Compared to the not the long past, we don't say that, the distant past, you could say maybe, when women were not even granted access to education, we can all say that our society has made a long stride, not a long stride, has made strides, is how we say this, has made strides towards eradicating sexism. Eradicating is a great word. Good. For me, this is very beneficial to our society because women, with their own specific traits and characters, can make different contributions to any organization uh, where they are employed or they are employed at, but you're missing something here, such as adding gentleness. Oh boy. Such as adding gentleness or lowering the disruption and heavy atmosphere in a meeting comprised of all male employees. All right. Now, I don't know what score you got, but this kind of language is not so recommended. It comes off as a little sexist. Okay. Now, are you being graded on this kind of idea? No, that's true, you're not, but you really don't want to write things like this. And again, it's a generalization, okay? So you're saying that women in the workplace add gentleness and they lower the disruption. Um, mm, Again, it's an overgeneralization, okay? So avoid this. Secondly, although I give credence to the fact that a woman's maternal role is always the most precious job in the world, I am convinced that a competent and high achieving woman can strike a balance between her family and career. They may be at home less and at the office more during daytime, but they can compensate for their kids by giving their kids what? But they can compensate by giving their children all their attention in the evening or at the weekend. For example, many female leaders of top level corporations have a strict rule of turning off their phone once they step foot into their home, allowing them to fully interact with their family and recharging their batteries before the next working day. Okay. let's see. All right, I still have a question about this. So, is this positive or negative? Women are holding more important roles in business and society. Is this positive or negative? So, here you're talking about why it's positive, okay? And here you're not, okay? This isn't really relevant to the question, okay? Because again, you're talking about women in terms of their family, and it's not asking you about that. Nowadays, women are holding more important roles in business and society. Is this a positive or negative development? So, um, I don't feel like this whole idea was relevant at all. Okay. Um, and I'm going to tell you something else about this. In this paragraph, you spent all this time talking about women as wives and women as mothers. But what about women who don't have children and who don't have husbands? Um, so you really kind of narrowed the focus of this by focusing so much on family that you may have done yourself a disservice. You narrowed the focus rather than thinking about other women and other, just maybe not so much like mothers. Okay. So that's another thing I wanted to say. But yeah, this for me, mm, probably not relevant. Now, I told you that you wanted to avoid kind of these gender stereotypes like gentleness, lowering the disruption, stuff like that. What you could have said instead, which is less stereotypical language, is you could have said that women, um, you know, add diversity to the work environment. And where there is diversity, there are new ideas and there are new ways of doing things, and this can be positive overall. It has been shown that more diverse workplaces are happier, they're more effective, they're more productive, etc., etc. So that's what you could have talked about. Okay. But yeah, like I said, this I didn't think was such a great idea. We'll talk about it more. In conclusion, although it is indeed hard to balance out the roles of women in their family, comma, kitchen, and their workplace, I firmly believe that women should be given more respect and recognition for their growing contribution to our society outside of their own house. Okay. Yeah, you heard me say ugh because again, this whole thing with the family in the kitchen. Um, so women are holding more important roles in businesses and society. Maybe you could have focused on that. So, what are the important roles in businesses? What are the important roles in society? Okay. So maybe you could have focused on that and then you would have not talked so much about this whole thing about motherhood. Um, so that's just some suggestions here. I'm really curious to hear what you got in your mock exam. Uh, I mean, I can tell you some things that I was happy with. I thought your grammar was good. Yes, I thought your vocabulary was good. I thought your structure was fine. There was nothing that really kind of stood out to me in terms of coherence and cohesion. So except for maybe like this, like on the contrary, which I told you I didn't agree with. Um, like I said, you had some things with like overgeneralizations. You had this kind of language which I thought was problematic in a few spots. But yeah, I thought coherence and cohesion were handled fine, but your grammar was good. I want you to avoid the word kids. Um, Prefer children if you can. Kids sounds a little informal, and you were pretty consistent with using kids everywhere. So I wasn't a huge fan of that. Now, that's not to say that IELTS requires you to use academic or formal language. Well, yeah, it doesn't require you to use formal language, but you do want to avoid something that feels a little too informal like kids. Just prefer children instead. Trying to see what else. Yeah, it is a little long. I didn't see the word count. Did you say it anywhere? Hmm. Okay. Um, so yeah, I think I was pretty clear about my concerns. I think. Right. So just to kind of wrap up for me, I think my issue was with task achievement. I think the other areas of the essay were handled fine. I thought you had some nice high level vocabulary like give credence and high achieving. So you had lots of stuff like that. So for me, I think if there was a spot that needed work, it would have been task achievement. I'm curious to hear what you received in this mock test. So do let me know in an email, okay? So thanks for sending this. Good luck to you.